Hey everyone, it's Diego VITERI. Welcome to a new video of VITERI Boxing. Today I will show you one of the most important footwork in boxing, which is the pivot. How to use it correctly and the different distances or ranges that you have to implement it. So let's begin. So why should you use a pivot? The pivot is going to help you to always keep sideways. Whenever you are fighting or attacking, if you do just a side step, I'm not aiming to my opponent. So I always have to turn, to pivot, in order to be aiming to my opponent and also to keep sideways. If he's attacking me and I have to protect my center line, I will have to move, pivoting to keep protecting my center line. Remember, this is a movement that will help you both things, to attack and to defend. So let's begin with the two different distances and how to use it step by step. So the first pivot we're going to do is the close range pivot. What you are going to use is the front foot and pivot from the ball of your foot. Always make sure the alignment between the tip of the toe and your heel. So whenever you turn, use your hip and lower your center of gravity, because that's going to give you stability. I move and I use my hip to turn. If I use my shoulders, it's too much momentum and I'm going to lose balance. If I do it with my shoulders, I'm going to lose balance and it's going to take me longer to attack my opponent. Remember that the whole point of doing the pivot is getting in position to attack or defend or anything. You need balance always. So you turn your feet from the ball of the foot, lower your level for stability, and you use your hips. Whenever the hips stop, your legs stop. So now for drill number one, you're going to use a weight plate, and you can use masking tape just to make sure you have lines in order to know your footwork placement. So you're going to start stepping on the weight plate, and you're going to turn either way, to your left or to your right. And after you throw three punches. So you throw a combination of 3 punches and then you turn. Make sure you stop immediately so you can immediately attack. You turn, you attack, you turn, you attack, you turn, you attack. And make sure to always keep your footwork moving. And also make sure to always work in both stances, orthodox and southpaw. So you throw your 3 punches, you turn, and you keep moving. One tip for the close range pivot is that whenever you turn, make sure to pin your opponent or use a frame. Make sure to use a pin so your opponent can't turn and face you. So whenever you turn, use a frame and keep him. You put your frame on top of his shoulder just to pin him down and prevent him to turn and face you. So now we're going to work on our mid-range pivot. And for this pivot, you have to make sure to always step so you can cover that distance or cover that gap. If I'm with my opponent over here and I just turn with a normal pivot without a step, I have nothing. So make sure to always step and then pivot, step and then pivot. So what I'm going to do is, if I'm moving to my left, I'm just going to step, always protecting my center line and my head, and then I'm going to use my hips and turn from the ball of my foot. I turn from the ball of my foot, I make sure I stop, and from here I can attack. Whenever I'm moving to my right, I'm gonna step to my right with my left foot, and then I'm gonna move my back foot. But most people think I'm crossing my legs, but that's not true. Most people think I'm crossing my legs, but what I'm doing is I'm squaring my hips this way and I'm just walking. So I'm not crossing my legs. So make sure to know that, because that's not a mistake. If I do this and I try to pivot this way, I'm actually not well balanced. If I do this and they punch me, I'm going to move this way. So make sure to always step, lower your level so the punches can come over your head, and then use your hip to turn so you can punch. If you move to your left, the same thing. You step, you close the gap, and then you move. You close the gap, and then you move. You close the gap, and then you move. Why I like so much doing like this is because my liver is protected the back of the head, they can't punch me, and then I'm fully covered, and then I just turn. But make sure to always lower your level, just in case they throw some hooks. For the second drill, we're gonna use an agility ladder, and what we're gonna do is make sure to always step with our front foot, so that's gonna help us to make sure to always step. Then we're gonna turn either way. We're gonna turn from the front or from the back, and then we're gonna move backwards and always take our front foot out of the agility ladder. Why? Because when we are fighting and someone gets an angle from us and we face them, that's not enough because they can still punch us. So whenever we want to neutralize an angle, we have to first face them and then create some distance. So regain your position. I regain my position, but then I create that distance, the same thing that Teofimo Lopez used against Lomachenko. So we're gonna do one here. Make sure you use your hips and lower your level, and your hands always protecting, and you move back, one in, one back, you go one in, one back, and whenever you finish with the orthodox, you work the same thing as a southpaw. You work as a southpaw, and make sure to keep always covering your head. Thanks everyone for watching my video. Remember that before you can flow and create your own style, you have to master the fundamentals. You need a lot of discipline, a lot of repetition, and always be conscious of the movements, of the little details, because that's what makes the difference of a big fighter, of a huge fighter. I'll see you next week for the next class.